YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and today we're ranking the top offensive tackle duos for the 2020 NFL season. One of the more important positions in football, and the right tackle position becoming more important because the edge rusher is coming off the right. So this was an important one here. This is a big one, in my opinion here. We got top 12 plus one sleeper. We're going to break it down. I think there's a pretty clear-cut top six that they're in their own category, in my opinion. So we'll discuss all that. Appreciate the support, helping us get to 50K. Let's keep on grinding. I think we can get to 60K in no time, so help us out. Help us reach that 50K on our second channel. More coming to that in the future. And then follow our Twitter. Always talking with you guys about football, about the Goat House. Polls will be on there, keeping you guys involved in future videos. So you're going to want to check out that Twitter and check out the podcast. Most recent podcast was probably my favorite one yet. Link down in the description to comments for anything you see there, anything that you may need. Any video, description to comments, you'll find those links. Who's a sleeper team? And this team actually could end the year ranked better than this. It's a tough one, though. They could also be ranked towards the bottom. That's the Chicago Bears here with their left tackle, Charles Leno, and their right tackle, Bobby MASSIE. And why I say that, why I'm kind of back and forth on where they could be ranked, is because you look at 2 years ago when the Bears had that fantastic season. They were in the playoffs, dominant season overall. And these two, the offensive line in general, but mainly these two tackles for their team were lights out. Maybe one of the best tackle duels in all of football in that 2018 season. Last year, not even close, not so much. Leno was off his game, way off his game compared to 2018, which I thought was a Pro Bowl, level season. And then MASSIE was pretty beat up last year, so that would be the reason for that. And there was a lot of blocking scheme changes, so I think they kind of get everything settled in this year, and I think they play much better. So that's why they make the list, and they're a sleeper. They could even be higher in this. Depends on which of these, mainly Leno, which one shows up there. So we'll see. And I guess the health for MASSIE there because he missed some games here and there. But number 12 is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Another sleeper, I suppose. Donovan Smith, consistency it is for him. 1 week looks lights out. Next week, not even close, to that. I was pretty high on him out of Penn State. So I believe in him. And Tristan WIRFS was a top tackle in a top tackle class here, right tackle. But you also, this is what people forget, you also factor in Tom Brady, and that is, Tom Brady alone is why this offensive line will be much better, and they get better with WIRFS. I think Smith gets better as, the year goes on, as his season goes on. So I think they get better because of themselves and because of the unit and how it's growing, but because of Tom Brady and the adjustments he makes as well. And I think the offense is better as a whole because of that. So these guys will step up. Maybe some people won't agree just based on the past, but I expect improvement here for sure. And number 11 is going to be the Buffalo Bills, a young group here. Deion Dawkins has been very solid from the left, and they stole Cody Ford in the draft. The question of him playing guard, and that was a year ago they stole him, in my opinion. I thought he was a first-round talent. They got him in the second round. Question of him playing guard or tackle at the next level. He dominated tackle at Oklahoma, so why not? And he played very, very well at right tackle for the Bills last year, improved every step of the way. So this is a young, improving group here. We saw the Bills from, what they did from 2018 to 2019 season, just much improvement. It's because the unit's really coming together, guys like these. So I expect another step up here. Number 10 is going to be the Raiders. I'm still not, completely all in on Colton Miller, but definitely a much better season last year than the year before. And we know Trent Brown is a top-tier right tackle. And we've seen him in New England. The question was, will he be as good away from New England? That season in 2018 was lights out for him, and he kind of answered the question. We've seen him miss some games, but he could still play. And we saw the Raiders' offensive line go from bottom tier to, I guess, towards the top as an entire unit. We know they got some pretty good interior guys that kind of boosted up a little bit. Still want to see more from Miller, but the athletic tackle is definitely working out in today's NFL. And Trent Brown's a beast, obviously. And I still think he's, as long as he's healthy, I think he can continue to improve. Number 9 is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Taylor Lewan, obviously being one of the better tackles in all of football. And then their right tackle, which it could be Dennis Kelly. He got some reps last year. It really mainly was Conklin, their right tackle. They lose. They draft Isaiah Wilson. Now, I guess where I grade, or most people grade Isaiah Wilson in the draft, maybe they took him a little early. And, people weren't, super excited. It wasn't a pick to get super excited about, jump out of your seat about. But the more you kind of sit with it, kind of sits with you a little bit. He's a good fit. They want a really solid run blocking right tackle out there to replace Conklin, because Conklin wasn't really all that great pass protection, and that's what you get with Isaiah Wilson. Maybe Kelly starting early on, first few weeks. I think Wilson starts most of the year. They used Kelly even with Conklin in there. Obviously, they used all three. So obviously Luan playing. They definitely want to use the group. The Wilson pick's growing on me a little more. He'll be good for their system, their offense. For a guy like Derrick Henry, that running back group, he will be good. So, yeah, Luan boosts this one because he's a very, very, very good left tackle. But it's a good fit with Isaiah Wilson, and they will be a good duo, even if it's Kelly, in my opinion. Number 8 is going to be, I think this is one where people may be a little surprised, because the Houston Texans, this offense line's been terrible. Deshaun Watson's been getting chased after for so long, and those people, slow your roll a little bit. Let's take a look at who's at these positions here. Laramie Tunsil, don't forget they traded for him. He's a very solid and much improving young left tackle. They traded a lot for him for a reason. They're locking him up long term for a reason, and now this is his second year with the Texans, second year with Deshaun Watson. He's going to continue to get better. So that one, I think everyone's on the same page about. TYTUS Howard, I like. It was a guy that I thought could be a little raw early on. He's got the upside. This guy really bullies people, a really solid run blocking tackle, and he can pass protect too. They actually started him off at guard last year, but then the right move to switch him back to tackle, and they really got their unit together. They didn't really have their identity yet. I think by default this offense line kind of gets better because now they got their firm unit, which that's the main thing with offensive lines. Why they go from first to worst, worst to first, nobody to somebody, the units, because it matters about the unit. You have these pieces, these really good pieces, but they're not all playing together. It's because everyone knows that they're not finished yet. It's not the final unit. And as soon as you put it together, they start balling out. They really do. So I think the Texans are kind of right there on the fringe of that, but we're talking tackles today, and they're at that spot with the tackles. So I like the Texans. People will question it. I know that in the comments, just because it's the Texans. But just think about what they got going here. Better than you think. Number 7, before we get on to the clear 6, in my opinion, number 7 is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Pretty good one here. There's a lot riding on Andre Dillard, who was a top prospect last year, who they got to replace Jason Peters. Smart thinking ahead of time. We're going to have to replace this guy. Peters was great for us. He's getting old. We're going to be moving on. He has the injury concern. We're moving on from him. So that was smart. Lane Johnson, obviously one of the better right tackles in football, as long as he's on the field, and so there's no questions there. But Dillard did struggle quite more than I thought he would last year. It wasn't anything terrible, but he struggled a bit at times. He allowed some pressure. So we'll see how he is, where he's starting full go from the start, left tackle, and his second year. So we obviously expect him to be better, but there's still a little bit of question marks there. But overall, they have a very good way of coaching these guys, the offensive line. So as long as they're healthy, which is the question. Unfortunately, we already saw one of the better guards in football, Brandon Brooks, go down, which hurts big time. So that hurts them mainly with the guard position. But I talk about units matter so much for offensive line, so that does hurt a little bit for the Eagles. It's unfortunate that they've been, I guess, a little bit quite cursed in terms of injuries. It just sucks. On to the top 6. I think the top 6 is pretty clear. I think 5 and 6 are pretty darn close to each other. I got the 49ers at 6. Trent Williams, last time he was playing fully, I viewed as the best left tackle in football. We've seen some injuries. We've seen him sitting out for quite some time. So it's tough to say that now. You're going to have to basically go on a hunch. We know he's good. You don't have to decide if he's good or not, off that. But you have to decide if he's a top-tier tackler or not. So we haven't seen him playing. We haven't seen him playing with the Niners. Well-coached group. I expect him to be good. I don't expect him to be the very best. Maybe not even elite anymore. But obviously a very good pickup, a steal of a pickup. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle. McGlinchey's a very solid, especially for their scheme, run-blocking right tackle. He does struggle against the really good pass rushers coming off that right side. He does struggle a little bit at times. He's still growing, though. He's still getting better. But a very balanced, solid group. Some question marks there. And I got 5 and 6 in terms of talent, where they have the talent. Pretty damn close, and that's kind of what separated a little bit. The Niners have a little more questions there. But like I said, top 6, they're all top tier in my opinion. So the Niners make that cut. But number 5 is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. As a unit, it's a really good unit. Maybe top tier, maybe number 1. We'll get to those ranking videos when the time is right there. But yeah, Anthony Costanzo, left tackle. It feels like, you get the feeling he's kind of near retirement. I think he's going to finish off these last 2 years. This contract he just got, and then yeah, he's going to be done. So that makes you think nearing retirement, he's got to decline. I don't really think so. Nothing tells me at all that he's ready to decline. He's a very solid left tackle, has been for quite some time. Got better once the unit, we see another example. They've had the pieces. Anthony Costanzo, they had the right pieces. How are they not good? They didn't finish the unit. Everyone knew the unit wasn't finished. They put it together. Guys like this start playing even better. But again, though, because maybe the age, you don't expect them to get any better, but still playing at a fine level for sure. And then Braden Smith, who's been, I guess, somewhat of a surprise coming out of Auburn a few years ago, because you thought for sure this guy was playing guard. Strength is run blocking, and the ability to play right tackle and kind of help complete this unit has been very impressive. Like I said, run blocking, the strength at right tackle. Sure, could be a little better pass protection, but could continue to get better, and has been pretty darn impressive here for the Colts, for sure, to say the least there. Number 4 is going to be the Baltimore Ravens here. Ronnie Stanley, Orlando Brown coming off a big-time year, and we start to see how good these tackle duos are, because you can make the case perhaps the Ravens are number 1. You really could, and the same goes for number 1, number 2, number 3. 5 and 6 are right there with them. Like I said, the top 6 are really in a class of their own here. Ronnie Stanley, lights out season, dominant season for him. He's just starting to get going here. And then Orlando Brown, the questions to him about his athleticism in today's NFL coming out of Oklahoma. He fits right in this perfect scheme. It's a perfect fit. The man blocking scheme, he's a perfect man blocker. Ronnie Stanley, I think, can play in anything. That's how good he is. But it's a really good duo, and it works well with the Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram offense, that style of offense. They had a lights-out season, to say the least there. So they're coming at number 4, very tough, splitting up these top 4 here for sure. Number 3 is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, Tyron Smith and La'el Collins. Maybe to get these guys at 1, maybe Tyron Smith from a few years ago. I don't think he's really, I don't want to say decline. Usually when I say decline, it's a guy that's kind of aging. The talent really isn't there anymore. The talent's definitely there. Some injury buildup, I think. And we're splitting here at this point because this guy is a top-tier tackle still. It's just about staying healthy. And La'el Collins is really starting to come together too. He's got to be healthy as well, but everything's really starting to come together with him. And they stole him, obviously, for some interesting from an interesting scenario, I guess, a few years ago out of the draft, him going undrafted. But definitely a top 3 group here. I mean, right there with the Ravens as well. Top tier group, about staying healthy. Number 2 is going to be the Chiefs. You got Eric Fisher, the left tackle, Mitchell Schwartz, the right tackle, arguably the best right tackle in football for Mitchell Schwartz, has been absolutely dominant the last couple years. Maybe Schwartz is the better part of this group, but Fisher has been fantastic for them. And I look at the playoffs. I know most of the season is made up from the regular season, and maybe wish there was a better play at time, but you look at the playoffs, crunch time, when it matters most. I mean, this group, Eric Fisher played much better when it mattered most. This group was dominant. I mean, they didn't let anything by them. I look at all the games, but the AFC Championship game against the Titans, they did not let anything, and I mean anything, by them. It was ridiculous off the edge there. Absolutely dominant. And I remember things like that. Of course, you want to remember the whole season, what matters most. But yeah, I expect, I don't see there's definitely no reason for decline. I could see Eric Fisher playing even better going forward. We know what to expect from Schwartz. Number 1, like I said, all very close. I think the top 6, very, very close. Maybe the top 4 if we want to narrow it down even more. Again, I had the Ravens at 4. You can make some cases for them at 1. I got the Saints at 1. Teron Armstead, I think, is pretty underrated. I think it feels like he's been in the league for quite some time. He's only 28, so I think he's, you don't want to say just getting started, but not too far after that point. And he's been extremely consistent, and it's crazy because he's the more veteran, the more well-known guy. I think RAMCZYK actually gets more of the praise, and it's interesting and he deserves it too. A young guy. I think a lot of people were surprised by that pick. These teams that have good offensive lines, these teams that have continued success know how to do it right. They know how to get that guy, when they need somebody to step up maybe the following year. He stepped up right away, was more than impressive right away, and he's been letting up a very little pressure. So I think all that combined is why maybe he gets more praise, which I think Armstead deserves a little more recognition here at times. But I think the main thing that puts them at 1, what's separating them. I thought about the playoff game last year. It was a little shaky, which was surprising. But, again, Armstead, 28 years old. He's still playing at a high level. And RAMCZYK, this guy's getting better. That's the scary part. So I think RAMCZYK's upside is what puts him at 1 because this guy is getting better. And we see them dominant, throughout the whole year there. Which helped their offense have success. So there's no reason to maybe some questions at the guard position. I expect it to be pretty damn good, but some switching things around, so that could affect the whole unit. But I expect this tackle group right here to be the same, if not better, because Armstead shouldn't drop off, and RAMCZYK has that upside. So we could expect better from the tackle group here. So that's what put them at 1. But damn close. Like I said, I think it was pretty easy for me to come up with the 12 or 13 here. And it's pretty easy to decide that the ones that separate themselves, the 6, but not much splitting up the top. Yeah, what I said, the 6. Maybe you can split it down to 4. So pretty impressive groups. It happens to be a good chunk of teams that are consistently good too. So impressive, and shows that how important that tackle position is, both of them in today's NFL. We can do guards next. We can do the guard duos next. Some more videos like this, and then kind of full rankings, units, full 32, offense, defense, player rankings at each position, all kinds of predictions for the upcoming NFL season. We got you covered. So please subscribe, smash that like button. Check us out on Twitter, link down below for that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.